from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Ovisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyi Osarate is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging, picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV, live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
My name is Tao Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
My name is Made Kuti, and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television. VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
This lovely afternoon, the locker room is the program, and it promises to be exciting. It's a full house, and it's with me, Jerry, High, and of course the guys with me making sure they serve you the hottest gist as far as football is concerned. Ikechukwu makes a return, and of course we'll be having Maiwa joining us virtually, and of course I will hit the ground running by starting with Ikechukwu because the feelers from the camp is that the players are refusing to train, they're refusing to travel to Marrakech for the game against Algeria. They say that all the bonuses from the African Cup of Nations must be paid up to the knockout stage before they will set a foot on the training pitch or even move to Marrakech. What is it about the players and lack of trust and communication with the NFF? Is it that these players have lost all decorum or respect for those who run our football? Because it only comes to this when they've lost respect for the NFF. This has become a reoccurring precedent. It happened in the World Cup playoff. Now it's coming to the African Cup of Nations proper. This is rather embarrassing.
All right, Jerry, good evening. And of course, to our viewers, it's good to be here to talk football. It's actually very sad news to, start the evening with. The Super Eagles actually should be preparing to actually take on that game. I mean, if we prepare early, Algeria is going to be very difficult. I mean, putting ourselves in this particular position where we have to start preparing late means it's going to even be more Herculean to actually, overcome that particular game. But let's focus on what the NFF has been up to for, a very, very long time. I mean, we've had, people come out. I mean, people who actually face the NFF. from the female team to the coaches of the female team to ex-international. Sunday Olise came out a couple of days ago. I mean, yeah, months ago to actually talk about him being still old. Many coaches have also come out to actually make the same inference. Of course, these guys also don't forget that before the World Cup playoff actually started, a member of the Super Eagles, current player who actually spoke in spoke anonymously, actually said that many of these guys haven't actually been paid in the last 2 years, and also said that even the ones that actually went to the Unity Cup, he inquired from them because he was not part of it, and they also said they weren't even paid. And of course, you recall that the guys also showed this same attitude before that particular game against DR Congo. No, I think it was again before the game against Gabon, and the presidency has the president needs to actually step in and to actually assure the guys that he's definitely going to be paying the money, and these guys decide to actually move on to the pitch and get the job done. Now we're actually faced with this. At this point, I'm not going to really blame the players. The truth is, when you keep giving your word over time and then keep going back, reneging on whatever it is you promise someone, your word becomes nothing. And when your word worth nothing, you're absolutely worth nothing yourself, because you're obviously disrespecting yourself. And for the players, they see this as the only chance they can actually, bargain, because now they know that the whole nation is actually watching. The chip right now, they have all the aces in their hands, the cards to actually play. So if they go into the pitch and then fail to actually win that particular game, there's no way they're going to be paid those bonus. I mean, those bonus can actually hang in for another 2-3 years, and that's going to be also sad. They know that going into this particular game, if they make their demands known and get their money now, whatever happens in the game against Algeria is definitely not going to change anything. So for me, I think I really like what they are actually doing at this point. Not because I think it's the very best approach, but because of the way people who run our football has actually shown that they also do not really care at the end of the day. They get paid. I mean, we've not had any member of any former member of the Glass House come out to say they've not been paid for XYZ months. But every single time the players who get the job done, the reason why the money is being voted by FIFA and other governing body to the Glass House, every single time the major actors come out to say they've not been paid, including Coach Eric Kerr also said the same thing. So that's why it's even difficult for coaches, and top players, senior players, ex-international to come out to actually talk to this, but because they've also passed through this same. It's actually not a good place to be in. So for me, I don't have any thing to actually say about these guys. I think every laborers deserve their wages, and at this point, these guys should actually demand for it, and they should actually be paid.
All right, it's rather sad that when we should be talking about how to defeat Algeria, the players are asking for money that they are owed because they've lost trust in the NFF to do the needful when the time matters. And of course, we're waiting for my wife to join us eventually. But before we get to that, let's talk about last night's fixtures. It was a blockbuster of games, and we saw the defending champions play like champions after the dispatched Burkina Faso by 3-0. And of course, one man is on fire at the moment, talking about Manchester United's Amad Diallo. Is it that he went to the AFCON, he took the glory of Manchester United to the AFCON? Anyway, there was no glory left at United anyway. Old Trafford was already filled with dust. Anyway, Mayo, it's great to have you. It's timely to have you join us on this auspicious day. We're just talking about your player, Amad Diallo, doing great things for Ivory Coast at the African Cup of Nations.
Well, he's so rich from, coming from, somebody that is saying the ambition is to be above Manchester United. But in any case, he's a good ambassador for Manchester United. I think Manchester United guys have been doing so well. Cameroon too, they've been able to scale through. So it shows that, Manchester United has a lot to offer. However, coming to the issue of the Super Eagles, the snakes strike again. The Yorubas will say, Toban here, you will know the Mashira, meaning if the village people are following you, you have to caution yourself. It seems the NFF, the village people are following them. I don't understand. We knew what happened against, during the playoff. That was what ended the career of Trishekong with the national team. It is because these people were owing the players money, and they were allowed this distraction on the game to get us off the track. The players will lose sight of concentrating on the game on Saturday. And when the game comes out and we eventually mess up in that game, the NFF will answer. As far as I'm concerned, everybody in the Glass House, especially the Gusau-led NFF, they should be stuck in jail. They should stick them in jail. Because I do not understand how government will allocate money to you, and we are still having issues of players complaining about the allowances not being paid to them. It doesn't make any logical sense to me. Monies are being released. Yeah, was already giving them allocation for this particular tournament. Where are all this money? Are they saying the NFF did not release the money? Are they just aware that we are going to the Nations Cup? How come this is happening all the time? And these are the people that cannot account for money is being given to them. As far as I'm concerned, if our so-called agency, our conference agency, if they don't step up, we'll continue to face this embarrassment. It's embarrassing that a country as big as Nigeria, we have our players protesting for unpaid wages, and I will not blame the players. They have every right to do it. It just does not make any sense. I hope the EFCC and the ICPC, I hope the Sport Commission, if they are not in cahoots with the NFF board, but we are not continue to have a board that will be disgracing Nigeria and disgracing our footballers in the public. We are watching our destiny lining in public, and it seems there is no sight, there's no end in sight. It's just so simple that this might be the end of our Nations Cup journey in Morocco because of the incompetence of the NFF.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, but we'll rather get to that because I'm still trying to get updates with what's happening as far as at the camp of the Eagles is concerned. The players have refused to train, and they said that they will not be heading to Marrakech, where they'll be playing on Saturday against the Desert Forces of Algeria. But let's talk about the defending champions of the Nations Cup. Ivory Coast secured their passage to the quarterfinals of the tournament following an efficient 3-0 win over Burkina Faso in the round of 16 at Stade de Marrakech on Tuesday night. Following a frantic start to the match, Ivory Coast manufactured their first corner of the match in the 3rd minute, while Burkina Faso broke quickly with a long-range shot that was saved by the goalkeeper. And of course, Amad Diallo proved to be a tricky customer to deal with as he continued to pressure the Burkina Faso backline with darting runs at the 10th minute mark, with 2 chances created in quick succession, and the Ivorians were in control of the tie early on. And of course, Mayowa, we all saw what happened. And of course, the Ivorians are looking like they want to defend this title. And then since you are sporting orange, you're looking like an Ivorian already. Anyway, Amad Diallo has been on fire. 3 goals in 4 matches. He's been on form. He broke the deadlock in the 19th minute after being the danger man for his nation since the first whistle. And after a quick passing move on the edge of the area, the Manchester United star capped off the sequence with a goal from close range. And of course, that goal was pure masterclass. It showed that he's a great talent and he's one for the future.
I think he has brought the form, he displayed the Manchester United, he has brought it to the Ivorian side. And, his importance in that particular team cannot be overemphasized. It's a very integral part of that particular team. And he has been very, very, very important for them getting to this particular stage. Emerson Faye, which is the coach, a lot of people did not give him a chance. Now he has been able to build a profile for himself, taking them from, a position of despair to the title last year. And he has continued to do that steadily without making a whole lot of noise. I think the Ivorian side, when the tournament to start, they dropped a Nicolas Pepe because of the comments he made. And a lot of people were up in hands and saying, this might probably affect the Ivorian side and the rest of that. And lo and behold, they've shown that they don't have to wait for Nicolas Pepe before they put in the performance. And Amad Diallo and Diamande, they've already stepped up this particular tournament, and they've been delivering with the goals. They seem to be very dangerous with the momentum they have at the moment. I will not be surprised if I see them in the semi-final because of how they've been able to put in a consistent performance, which has brought them this far. Kudos to our boy Amad Diallo. Is representing Manchester United very well in this particular AFCON.
Representing Manchester United very well. And of course, I hope he did not take the glory of United to this AFCON, but it is what it is. Ivory Coast doubled the advantage through Yan Diomande shortly after the 30th minute mark as he opened his account at the showpiece. And again, at the forefront of the Ivorians attack, Diallo drove the ball forward before picking out Diomande, who subsequently guided the ball home on the edge of the box. And of course, They say the rest is history as they won that game by 3-0. And Banzu Mana Torre added a third in the 86th minute to jot down 2 goals in his last 2 matches. And of course, it looks like Emma Safe has found a way to win games and at big occasions. And what a coincidental appointment has led to a good AFCON title, and it's looking like he's on his way. And they will take on Egypt this Saturday. Maiwa, do you think that the Ivorians stand a big chance in defending this title with the way they're going?
Well, I think it's a possibility. The last time we saw any team, defend the tournament is about 15 years ago. That was when Egypt last won it back-to-back. And since then, no team has been able to do it. The titles have moved around quite a bit. However, I think we cannot take it away from them. Give a good account of themselves. And if you look at the Egyptian side, to be honest with you, in as much as they've been getting the victory, and the hallmark of a good team is to get the result even when you are not playing that well. They've not been that fantastic. If you are going to assess the Egyptians have been playing so far, out of all the 4 games they've played, they've only been fantastic in 1 game. Outside that, the rest of the games they've been struggling. To be honest with you, and the Ivorians might be able to do it against them. It took them, the extra time before they could be able to overcome their opponents in their last game, before they could be able to overcome the Benin in their last game. So for me, I think the Ivorians, they have a better shot at dispatching the Egyptians if they can keep up with this consistency. And with the Egyptian side, I'm looking at, there is no cohesiveness that much. In front of goal, they're a bit lackluster. They are not as potent in front of goal as you would expect. Mohamed Salah and the rest of them, they've slowed down a bit. They are not as dangerous as you would expect. I think if Emerson Faye's team can, take advantage of that, they have a better shot, at going past the Egyptian side.
All right, now let's talk about the Algerians. Oh, what a game last night. And definitely I was skeptical about DR Congo. Algeria advanced to the quarterfinals, courtesy of a brilliant goal. Would I say the goal of the tournament? Because that goal scored by Bolbina has to be the goal of the tournament, except something exceptional is scored in the quarterfinals or in the semifinals, and as well the final of the African Cup of Nations. And of course, the DR Congo side were very poor in the final third, and they paid dearly for it in the extra time of that game. In the 119th minute, what a goal to make the difference against DR Congo. It was a fantastic showing from the Algerians. They were enterprising for the duration of that game, and they eventually, all the enterprising performance eventually paying off for the Algerians.
Yeah, that game was a game of two halves, or two sides. The game of physicality and of course the game of technique. And the DR Congo side were clearly very physical, and yes, they've got a lot of strengths in them. But then, the stamina to actually continue after 100 minutes was actually where, they were found, wanting in that particular game. If you look at the Algerians in that game, they were very mobile. They were young. They kept on moving. And another very big problem the DR Congos have in that particular match was that they did not have any danger man up front. In fact, the final third was as good as, their back four. They more like appear like defenders in that final third. So that's exactly why they were not really much of a threat to the Algerians. It's not like the Algerians were so fantastic. I also look at the midfield. What the DR Congo guys kept doing is they ensure that they win the ball. But when they win the ball, there's no idea, it seems like there was no quartet plan for them to actually break the Algerians in the heart of the defense. And that's exactly what the Algerians actually did capitalize on. And every single time, the Algerians actually, attack, it showed that, there's something, there seems to be some sort of promises, going forward. And I think it was at the 117 minute, I was telling someone where I was actually seeing the game that this game, if there's any goal that will come out of this game, it's definitely going to be the Algerians, because they kept on shooting, they kept on, looking at ways to actually find, the back of the net. In fact, before that particular goal, the goalkeeper of DR Congo made 2 great saves. Mpasi, that guy did 2 good saves to actually keep them in the tie until, Bobina struck in the 119 minute. And of course, it was really deserved. I don't think the DR Congo side really would have actually, won that particular game if it didn't actually go into the penalties. The Algerians were clearly the better side in that particular match, and I mean, kudos to them. I just hope that the game against Super Eagles, they will definitely show up the way they did, because if they did show up the way they did against DR Congo, I think the Super Eagles will definitely take them out of it now, because there was actually no creative force even in the midfield of the Algerians, and it was like a game of more of tactics. The techniques was not really very visible and not very obvious. And when you play the Super Eagles, when a team plays the Super Eagles without a high level of technique, it's going to be very difficult for that team to actually overcome the Super Eagles. But then it was a beautiful game, and Bobina actually made a difference in that particular. They really deserve to actually make it through. For me, that game, that scoreline is not a reflection of what we actually saw. It would have been 2 or 3-0 in that particular match.
All right, and of course, Mayo was on the DR Congo side. They were pretty cautious in that game, and the Algerians did not see the goalkeeper the first half of that game, but the second half they came back pouncing, and it took them extra time to win that game. Definitely, I was worried about playing DR Congo for the Super Eagles, but it looks like Algeria looks a pretty interesting side. But of course, the Super Eagles should fancy their chances against the Algerians, because we have a very interesting record and a score to settle against the Algerians.
I mean, like Coach Riley said, it took the strength of the substitution in the extra time for them to be able to do. The person that scored the goal came in, very late in the game, and he had a whole lot of strength. The Congolese side, they were tired out. The second half was practically for the Algerian side. I think Congo were very poor in that particular game, and they didn't live up to expectation. They were actually playing for penalty, and that did not work out for them. I really like the fact that the Algerians scored at the very point that it will knock you out. You can't really do anything to probably fight back and the rest of that. And it was a masterclass victory for them. Arguably, one of the goals of the tournament. I was a bit sad. I don't want us to play the Algerian side, because the thing is we've played Algeria over 9 times. We've been able to draw them 2 times, and they've been able to have four victories over us in the AFCON, and that worries me a whole lot. In recent times, we've not been able to overcome them, at this kind of tournament. I remember what they did to us the last time we met about 6 years ago, and I'm worried that they might just find a way to do something to us. Also, we have an issue as regards our team not preparing properly at the moment. So I'm really hoping our boys can step up. And yes, a whole lot of people might say the Algerian side, they've lost pace. We admire us, it's not the admirers of 6 years ago. And there's a lot of paparazzi surrounding Lucas, Zidane, Imposed, and the rest of that. However, the Algerian side, they are still one of the dangerous side in that particular tournament. They can score a goal and lock shot. We've seen them do it before in this tournament, and they can do it again. So we need to be very, very careful in how we approach them. If we're a bit tactical, I think we should be able to overcome them, especially because they are not that fluid in the midfield. We can take the midfield away from them and probably give them soccer points before they recover. However, if we are not careful, they can just score a goal, and lock shot.
All right, and of course, let's talk about the Super Eagles, who the Algerians will be taking on Saturday, where the players of the senior national team of Nigeria say they won't train or travel to Marrakech for the quarterfinal game against Algeria unless their outstanding bonuses are paid. The players, according to veteran journalist Olusegun Okeleji, have not been paid any bonus since the start of the tournament, where they have won all of their 4 games so far. And they are saying that they won their bonuses from the games against Tanzania, Tunisia, Uganda, and Mozambique paid in full. Else, they won't travel or train ahead of the game on Saturday. Officials of the team are also not left out, and it's a similar situation to the one that happened during the World Cup qualifiers playoff, where the team refused to train ahead of the final game against DR Congo, which they ended up losing. And senior officials of the National Sports Commission, led by Chairman Sheodiko, will meet with the team in a bid to find a solution to this impasse, which is threatening to rock the team's fine run of form at the tournament so far. Officials of the NFF will also be a part of the meeting in the bid to resolve the dispute. And just some few minutes ago, feelers I got was that the players have decided to train, but they still maintain their ground that they will not be going to Marrakech if their money is not paid. Anyway, they have time. Tomorrow is Thursday, next tomorrow is Friday. But it looks like the trend continues. Are we going to see them lose again? Because it was a distraction before the game against DR Congo, and now they face Algeria, they started again.
So one of the coaches that I played under at some point, when I was playing football very actively, you would definitely always use a particular phrase that a sound mind, sound body, play sound football. And no matter how well you train, if your mind is not sound, you definitely not give a sound result. And that's what happened to the Super Eagles against DR Congo. It's going to happen again if this result is not fixed. And God help us if the result if they finally find a way to fix the results, maybe on Friday, it's still going to affect the outcome of the game because the players will not be fully settled to actually go into that particular game. This is one too many for the NFF. I mean, this thing happened just a few months ago. We lost to DR Congo we lost the World Cup ticket to DR Congo. Now we are here again, the same thing. And I mean, come on, it happens once, it's a mistake. It happens twice, it's deliberate. This is exactly what it means, that the NFF doesn't really care about football development. They just want to get some cut of whatever it is that FIFA and CAF is actually sharing to Nigeria as part of people who are part of the body in terms of football. And that's what they really care about. Because tell me why you put these players in this sort of precarious position, putting the nation as well in this sort of situation. Now look at it this way. These players leave their club side to come play for Nigeria. You're supposed to pay them. If they get injured, you're not going to treat them. They'll go back to your club side to be treated. And now you expect them to give their all to the national team. At this point, I'm not even going to call on the EFCC or whatever, ICPC, because I know they are bets of a fair that they definitely will not do anything. I mean, it's been over 2 years we've been talking about, the money they probe about 17 billion naira that they started talking about. What has come out of it? It's definitely going to be the same thing because nobody is being punished. I just hope the president needs to step in at this point, find a way to actually ensure these guys get paid. It is not a case of, let's just have a conversation, you guys to go and play. I want these guys to stick to their gun and ensure that they get their money before they play the game. Even if it means, CAF banning the Super Eagles because they failed to actually play this particular game, let it be so, because we need to, this guy needs to send a message that is going to reset, football and, of course, people who manage our football in this country.
All right, so Mario, why does it look like this is a recurrent precedent? We all thought that this was over, but the AFCON is still ongoing. Is it the tradition of them getting their bonuses after each game, after group stage? When did that become a tradition with the Super Eagles? And if that being said, is the word of the NFF not supposed to be enough alongside the NSC to guarantee the players that will be getting their money? Or history has taught that the players decide not to wait anymore. But is this going to be a problem for this team ahead of their game against Algeria?
Well, the word of the NFF is as useless as the second U in queue. To be honest with you, they've disappointed many times before. Their word means nothing. Let me shock you. Correct me if I'm wrong. The last time Olise was our coach was about 7 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. 7 or 8 years ago. Yeah. Olise is still owed $30,000. He said, according to him on his show, he said he doesn't want to take his country to CAS because it might result in 11 years. They refused to pay him. And the same thing they said, then, don't worry, we are going to settle you. Don't worry, don't play this game. We are going to settle you. How do you owe people for over 3 years and you have not paid them and you expect them to believe you? No, they will not. It means the same thing they were fighting against when they wanted to play the playoff against DR Congo. And the issue has not been sorted. Now we are in a competition. Other teams are being paid accordingly. We are not being paid. Is the NFF claiming that the federal government did not release money for their preparation? Is that what they are claiming? There is no justification for this. As far as I'm concerned, I think it would be ideal. And a lot of people might come and throw a stick at me and say, where's the patriotism and the rest of that and stuff like that. Those that are heading those organizations, they are not patriotic. If you are patriotic, you will not treat your fellow Nigerians like piece of trash. And that's where you will not disrespect the players. No matter how small the money is, no matter how big the money is, they work for this money. It's their entitlement. They are supposed to get it. As far as I'm concerned, this is what I expect the players to do. A lot of people might say, I'm not patriotic. The thing is, they train. If you don't get the money, do not show up for that particular game. I would rather have, CAF ban us, sanction us right now, we don't go to the next season. So probably maybe this will get to resolve the issue. Because I mean the NFF, the guys in the guys in the glass house, they've been getting away with this. How come they release money to you to pay outstanding bonuses and outstanding, match allowances, and you've not paid till now? It's like our coach, he has not been paid. All of them have not been paid, and they told them to do it. And these guys, they've done so well. They've played 4 games, they've won 4 games. What else did the NFF want? So for me, I think the players should stick to their gun. If they don't get paid, they should not show up for that particular game.
Yeah, you are even talking too far, Mayawa. You recall the girls $100,000. Have they collected their money? These are the big questions.
Audio money.
These are the big questions. Now you expect the whole nation to rally around and say, the guy should go and play. The guy should go and play. But the ladies there, their own case is yet to be sorted. And now we're having a conversation. See, for me, lessons must be learned. And these guys need to actually put their foot on the gas. Because if the guys cannot do it, trust me, the ladies will not be able to do it.
Wow, this is rather embarrassing. The AFCON Nigeria supposed giant at a point in time, because that giant of Africa no longer sailed. It's embarrassing that this team is doing very well. Is it that the NFF and the NS, all of them, if you go to Morocco now, everybody is in Morocco. All the NFF Glassers is under lock and key. Everybody is in Morocco. So what are they doing there? They are just there having fun, enjoying themselves. Forget the purpose of which they are there. The reason why the Super Eagles, the NFF officials could even make a trip to Morocco is because this team has qualified. And the reason why they are all there is because of this team. And if this team is not well taken care of, so what's the need of all the money they've wasted in having Estacos taking care of themselves at the detriment of the well-being of this team? It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad.
They went to Morocco on taxpayers' money. The money these guys spent on that trip to Morocco and the return can actually go a long way to actually settle some of these players. So why are they even in Morocco?
Yeah.
These are the questions. If you want to claim that you don't have money, stay at home. Use the money that you have. Pay these guys. Then even when it gets to the final, one person will just go.
The thing is that for even the players themselves, in time past, they used to go to the AFCON and they will play the group stage. They will even play to the final. They will not mention bonuses because they know that the NFF does their money. They are going to get their money eventually. But it's just that this NFF, they've lost faith in them. They've lost total respect. Because so no longer has the respect of these players. Even the coaching crew have seen it. Eric Chair has seen it that these guys are just rabble-rousers.
They are jokers.
They have nothing to offer. He don't see Nigeria finish. So he can't even tell the players calm down or anything.
Eric Chair himself is being old.
So himself I think he's just, let me just do my job and just leave this place.
You remember the rumor?
All the talk and
You remember the rumor of Eric Chair being sacked at some point? One of the things he said was, if you are sacking me, you're going to pay me. He's being old himself. So these are all of these things. And how do you even expect Eric Chair to actually call the boys? I remember when the incident of Olise and the Minister of Sports happened at the point. The Amadou Shuaibu and the late Amadou Shuaibu and late Big Boss Stephen Keshi that were the coaches were also being old. So there was absolutely no way they could even open their mouth. This thing didn't start today. But at this point, it's even worse because back in the days, they will owe them and they will pay them. This one, it feels like, you know what, people should go and play. You play in Europe, so your club will pay you. Your club will pay you to play for us. That's how it feels like, And then you see people who will be saying, with all the money they take in their clubs, I can't you just honor your national team and play? Come on, these guys get injured. Look at the Kwabumi, when it happened to him. Who looked at him?
Anyway, talking about the Eagles, maybe these unpaid allowances will overshadow the talk about Victor Osimhen's situation from his team ahead of their quarterfinal clash against Algeria. And Osimhen was involved in a pitch bust-up with his teammate Ademola Lookman over the decision of Bruno Yemachi not to pass the ball to him. And they've been talking about it that Eric Chair, would he be bold enough to drop him on the bench ahead of that game? I think with this talk about the players uniting against the NFF that they must pay their bonuses, I think they would have put that behind them and move forward. But if it comes to Eric Chair making a big decision, would you stand behind the Maiwa to drop Victor Osimhen ahead of the game against Algeria? Because the Algerian side will surely need the firepower of Osimhen.
Well, the thing is, this is very simple. No one man is bigger than the community. They usually say a man can cook for the community and everybody will eat, but if the community decides to cook for you, they're not born you where you finish the food. That's just the honest truth. You cannot be bigger than the nation. You cannot be bigger than the national team. I think if Osimhen, I don't know, since Chelsea said he's going to handle it internally, I think the way to go about it is Osimhen has to apologize to his. If he has refused to do that, then for me as a coach, I will stick him on the bench. Even after the apology, and I probably stick him on the bench for the first 45 minutes, and probably bring him on the second 45 minutes. But if there's no apology from him, I will stick him on the bench and let the boys do their thing. If we win, fine. If we don't win, fine. And that will just be the end of Osimhen playing for an HL. He needs to go and sort out his personal issues and not take it out on the players. It was disrespectful, and the coach needs to handle it. For me personally, if he sticks him on the bench, that's sending a message to Osimhen that behaviors like this will not be tolerated, and I will stand behind it no matter the result.
All right, stand behind it no matter the result, because even the players, normally if a player does something like this, the whole world saw it. You could see that if you see in that video, the Mozambicans were even holding us. Yes. So that they were surprised that you guys are winning. You guys are supposed to be excited. We are the ones that are supposed to be angry, and you guys will be cheering us. Don't worry, we are beating you, but just think it's just football. But they are the ones who are cheering and trying to stop the Super Eagles from fighting over scoring more goals. Anyway, they saw Mozambique finish, so they were not happy that they scored only 4. They wanted more. Oliver, please.
No. For me, what I actually saw there was that footballers already know that beyond scoring goals and beyond winning games, football should be without violence. And we've seen it multiple times where, a player will definitely hold his own teammates not to fight, an opponent, because they understand that this is just football and it should not be, emotion should not be, what drives the game. And it was unfortunate what happened. Osimhen was actually, I think he's actually gone in for the Golden Boot Award, and that's for me what I actually see. And he felt that, with a game like Mozambique, that he should have actually scored a lot of goals to actually put him, in a very good position. Now he scored 3 goals, just one behind Ibrahim Diaz, who's top scorer. The likes of Ademola Lookman, Mo Salah, Amad Diallo, these guys all have 3 goals. So I think it's still very much within range. For me, I just don't want the team to now start focusing on him, because it's going to actually kill the team dynamics. I don't want to see that. And that's what this sort of attitude will bring. I just hope that Eritrea finds a way to actually put Osimhen in his place, make him understand that you are not bigger than this team. You can go to your club side and do that if your club side tolerates it. But this is the national team. You are not bigger than the country. The country is bigger than everyone.
All right. So of course, it's going to be a big decision for Eritrea to make as far as the situation of Victor Osimhen is concerned. I would have expected him to drop an open apology, because the whole Nigerians also saw it. It was not well representing for a country like Nigeria for its big player to behave such way. And of course, other big players would have at least dropped an Instagram post to apologize to Nigerians and so on. He also failed to do that. He has been getting away with a lot of things. I don't know. It's just like the only son, where the parents will just allow him do whatever he likes, because if anything happens to the only son, what would they do?
Yes.
Are we in a situation where we have only Osimhen and he can do anything and get away with it?
Osimhen has this very, very funny attitude of, wanting to actually
be
decide,
right all the time.
Yes. And the truth is that if you recall when Ademola Lookman won the African Footballer of the Year award, every other player went on social media to congratulate him.
And he didn't.
We were waiting for Osimhen to do his.
Till tomorrow.
The only thing he said was, I congratulated him privately. See, there are things you do. You start creating a certain pattern that people will like, okay,
this is who you are.
This is who you are. And that's exactly what the problem with.
He has
successfully done that. And, little things like that, it comes out, he lash out. And that was why when he started lashing out on the middle, a lot of person were like, okay, what exactly is the problem? This is your teammate. By all pedigree, you're not bigger than him. You've won a big title, he's won a big title. So what's the difference? Our last 2 AFCON, the last 2 AFCON these guys have gone to, this one and the last one. Ademola Lookman has already put himself in a place where he's Nigeria's most important player when it comes to the players in the attack. So what exactly is the problem? Why are you lashing out? But it's unfortunate, right, that Osimhen is actually doing this. But I just hope this doesn't really unsettle the team. That's not what Nigeria wants to see. The NFF issue is at hand. Osimhen's issue is there. I don't know how Algeria is going to actually manage this situation. But then Nigerians want to actually get the World Cup as, I'll call it, a sort of a way to actually placate the nation for not winning the World Cup ticket. That's exactly what I see. And if they fail to do that, and trust me, it's going to be more terrible for the country to actually be without Nations Cup and, of course, the World Cup in 2026.
All right, so talking about the behavior of the prodigal son who has not left home yet but causing trouble at home. Anyway, talking about the Algerians, we had the senior national team of Algeria sweating on the fitness of midfielder Ismail Benassa ahead of their quarterfinal game against Nigeria in the ongoing African Cup of Nations. Benassa, who has ever been present for the team at the tournament, went off injured in the second half of the 1-0 win over the Congo. And of course, even talking about their star man,
Riyad
Mahrez also picked a knock in that game. And Benassa, these are the two most experienced players in that Algerian side. And of course, I think the Nigerians will be happy that they didn't even make it because they're very dangerous players. They have very much experience in that very young Algerian side. Okay, let's go over to the English Premier League, where it's looking very interesting. The two teams have new managers ahead of today's fixtures. But let's talk about the one that happened last night between West Ham and Nottingham Forest. One man is not happy with the result. Talking about West Ham United midfielder Thomas Tuchel described the decision to award Nottingham Forest a match-winning 89th-minute penalty as a joke on Tuesday after a defeat that left his in deep relegation trouble. And of course, Grizzled Check, talking about Tuchel, hand in West Ham going in front after 13 minutes when his flick on went into the net of Forest defender Murillo. That goal was dubbed an own goal, but Forest leveled after the break through Nicolas Dominguez, and Morgan Gibbs White tucked away the winner from the spot after being clattered by West Ham goalkeeper Alfonso Areola. And of course, Areola had been trying to intercept the ball into the crowded area, but mistimed his punch, mistimed his punch, I beg your pardon, and connected instead with the face of Gibbs White, and referee Tony Harrington awarded the penalty after a VAR check. And of course, the rest is history. West Ham United, I don't know the plan. It looks like they really want to play in the championship next season.
I think Nuno Espirito Santos, knows something about the championship. He has been there before. He brought Wolves from there, so he can go back there and do it again with them. So, but in any case, I think Thomas Tuchel is just, he's just ranting for no reason. And that was an obvious penalty. You don't do that in the 18th. And the goalkeeper was at fault. And, yes, it was a late penalty, but they did clothe themselves in glory. And, that game also saved Sean Dyche's job because Marinakis, the owner of Nottingham Forest, is a trigger-happy owner that can fire coaches. He has done it before. He has used 4 coaches in a season before. With the game with Nottingham Forest, that win, probably gave Sean Dyche some kind of respite. But in any case, it's a good victory for Nottingham Forest. They've been battling with consistency. That victory takes away a bit of pressure from them. The pressure is mounting on, West Ham. They are in the relegation battle, and it seems Nuno Espirito Santos has not been able to get his rhythm. Will he be able to do it in the remaining, 18 games? Well, in the remaining 17 games, that is what we wait to see. But it's going to be a very long 17 games for them. And with the way they are playing, I don't think they have the quality to do it. Probably maybe at the end of the season, we might see West Ham going back to the championship after 15 years in the EPL.
All right, how does West Ham explain that after 21 games, they only have 14 points and they're sitting pretty in the bottom 3?
Well, it's actually going to be strange to see them play in the championship, certainly. But if we've seen Leicester City, 2014 Premier League champion, play in the championship and come back, definitely West Ham is not too big to actually go, to the championship. It's one of those things that happens, and not be surprising to actually get to see. But it's one of those very sad moments to actually concede a penalty. It's 9 minutes, in a game of high stake is one very, terrible space to actually be in. But unfortunately, it happened to them, and I just hope they find a way to actually, continue to get the positive result. They definitely will be needing, about 40 points to actually make it out of relegation. Can they actually do it, within this time? The games they have lined up says that that's going to be almost impossible. But then it is football. The possibility of them actually coming out of that particular one. Okay, so we'll look at it and say about they've got about 26 points rather, to actually get that particular. It's going to be difficult to get 26 points the way I actually see it. But Nottingham Forest 21 points at this point. I mean, you want to say they're almost already there. But for West Ham, it's a very sad place for them to actually be now. Morgan Gibbs-White is another player who has been in a very good shape. But I mean, I don't know. But let's get to see if Wolves. I think at this point, Wolves has already considered that they're going to the Championship. So yes, they've considered that already. 6 points, in over 20 games. It's a very terrible place to be at this point. But missing West Ham in the Premier League, it's going to be huge. Again, another thing is if these three guys, West Ham, Burnley, and Wolves, actually make it to the Championship, it means that it's going to be interesting in Championship next season. I want to see that I want to believe that they will definitely come back. Talking about West Ham, I think if some of their players stay with them, of course Wolves as well, I think they definitely come back next season. But for now, they just need to do all they can to actually escape it. Regulation battle and final day fixture is definitely going to be a very tough one if West Ham definitely make it out.
All right, and of course, they will also have other fixtures to look forward to today. And of course, we would like to see what will happen with Chelsea. They go away to Fulham, and there's a new coach on board. And it's going to be a very, very big test for him because Fulham is going to be more like a London derby between both sides. And your darling Manchester United, with their family problem, Darren Fletcher and the Sons, would go away to Burnley. Burnley is also struggling as well, okay? And Manchester United should be able to beat them, but it's not going to be Uhuru because it looks like Diallo has taken their luck to Morocco. But let's see how that pans out. Maiwa, the fixtures are looking very interesting for these very two sides who have new managers.
I mean, for Chelsea, Liam Rosnell, the son of Leroy Rosnell, moving from Strasbourg to Chelsea. Strasbourg is also owned by Todd Boehly. It's also partly owned by Todd Boehly, so it's more of a, an internal movement. He has been able to get Strasbourg to Europe, especially the Conference League, and they are doing so well there. And they are even seventh, in the Ligue 1 at the moment. So, I mean, he has the quality to be able to do it, and that's the reason why they've entrusted Chelsea to him. He's still very young. He's just 41, and he has a whole lot to prove. So, a whole lot of players want to play for him. Let's see if he's able to turn the fortunes of Chelsea around. For Manchester United, Fletcher and Son, they take over, and Burnley is struggling. We played the Wolves that was struggling last week. What was the result? 1-1. So I don't trust the Manchester United right now. I think they are caused with draws if they don't lose. I hope if Fletcher is able to do something fantastic while we await the appointment of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because freelance have it that the management already talks with Solskjaer and they want to bring him back as a caretaker manager. But for tonight, I'm hoping Fletcher and Son, they show up and they deliver the result and probably get us 3 points to get closer to the team ahead of us that does not have ambition, which is Liverpool.
Wow. You have to chip that in. I will forgive you. I'll wait for you tomorrow after the Fulham game. Then we'll have a better conversation. The Burnley game, I beg your pardon. They will have a conversation about that. And of course, it's going to be a very interesting fixture lineup to look forward to because you just let the cat out of the bag. We hear that Michael Carrick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could each hold fresh talks with Manchester United as the club seek to appoint an interim head coach after the sacking of Ruben Amorim. I think why not bring them all in to hold the team and even look at next season. They should just give them a 3-year project. Michael Carrick, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Fletcher all working together. Then Ole leading the pack alongside Carrick and Fletcher. What do you think? Well,
there's every club has its level. United is actually a top team, and if you need to,
are they still a top team? I think anyway.
Well, if you need to be at the top, you definitely need top managers. And I mean, there's this rule of you never go back to your ex. The likes of Solskjaer and
if the ex was fantastic. Only that it was your mistake. It was you that caused the breakup.
But
yeah, you can actually go back.
Well.
But the truth is,
It never ends well.
one, it never ends well. Two, Solskjaer is not a fantastic ex. So there's no.
At least it's time. His record since he left, I've not seen any manager that have passed his record apart from Eric Ten Hag, who was doing Yahoo FA Cup. Yeah, but his win record was tremendous. He was taking them to Champions League then.
I think the reason why they brought, they are trying to bring this guy back is because they understand the United system. They're part of the system. They grew up in the system. So definitely they'll be so good to actually help to, manage the system now that it's in crisis. But outside that, I don't think they have that, tactical nuance to actually take United to the level United aspire to be.
Yeah, United doesn't have any ambition. They just want to be there and just be a part of those who are asking questions, because that team doesn't look ambitious. They're only spending and wasting money. And to see the fact they spend a lot of money so far so good, if they bring in Carrick, I think they will set maybe.
You want them to bring in Carrick so that Liverpool will definitely be able to walk through United.
Funny enough, if they bring in Gunnar Solskjaer, they might win trophies.
No, but
funny enough.
But Carrick is doing well for Middlesbrough. Why does Carrick want to leave Middlesbrough to come to Manchester United?
Let him build his career.
Yes, now let him use Man United to build his career.
No, let him use.
He has already tried Middlesbrough.
He should start in Middlesbrough. He's doing very well in Middlesbrough.
If you are doing well in Middlesbrough and Man United wants you will stay in Middlesbrough.
No, let him build his career well in Middlesbrough.
Let him use Man United to build his career.
Why would he use Man United to build his career?
In short spell he had with Man United at a point in time, he did well.
Let him finish whatever it is he's doing this season with Middlesbrough.
There's nothing to finish.
Well, it is not my case. My wife, it's up to you.
No, Ikechukwu, the thing is this: the ambitionless club ahead of us, they want us not to sort out our coaching issue so that they can. If you let
bring this down Capello, you will still not succeed because your problem is family problem. I'm not even worried. Any coach, go and bring it. United's problem is bigger than coach. So anyway, I wish them all the best. And of course, that's the fixtures to look forward to this lovely day. Big thanks, my one, for being awesome, and as well, Ikechukwu, for being awesome on the show. Yeah.
Well, it's always amazing to be here, and I'm hoping Manchester United do the magic today, and probably level up with Liverpool at the end of the game against.
You're expecting magic against Burnley that has only 12 points. Wow, how was the mighty falling?
It doesn't really matter.
How was the mighty falling? Big thanks to the guys behind the scene, talking about likes of Victor, Alex, as well as Hassan, and not leaving out of Jeremiah. My name is Jerry, saying thanks for being a part of the show. Up next is Political Lens with Chukwuma Okoro. Stay tuned.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.